Wildcats are through to the state semifinal. Welcome to the SIBN's Across the Table. Greg Zeit and John Fanza here. We are in SIBN Studio C. We told you we'd have a surprise for you, and we do. We're going to be using this smart board here on the campus of St. Ignatius High School as we're going to take a look at some of this past week's win. The Wildcats winning Region 1, beating the Mentor Cardinals, the one-seeded Cardinals, who had just a great year, Greg, led by quarterback Mitch Trubisky. What a great win for this team, Greg. They really played great defense all throughout. We're going to be looking at that.
Oh, it really was. The Wildcats back in Week 3 played the Mentor Cardinals. That was a 38-24 loss in that game. Mitch Trubisky had over 500 yards passing. Mentor put up 38 points. They really torched the Wildcat defense. But Saturday night, the defense made all kinds of adjustments and really shut down the Cardinals. They only had 3 points in the first half, and they only had 17 points in the whole game. The Wildcats, instead of sitting back and letting Trubisky pick them apart like they did in Week 3, they decided, we're going to blitz this guy, we're going to make him move, we're going to make him throw on the run, and it worked to perfection. They sacked him a lot of times, they forced a lot of bad throws, and they forced a couple turnovers.
Wildcats went to Lakewood Stadium, and having a 2-2 record in the OHSAA playoffs there before, they made it 3-2 on Saturday night in front of a huge crowd. What an environment there for the Cardinals and the Wildcats. They continued this great rivalry that they had. The Wildcats were able to get the better of them on Saturday night, Greg. What was also a huge standout there was, you could see, if you look back at the tape from Week 3 where we faced Mentor, and you look at the tape from last Saturday night, you definitely see a more confident Eric Williams. I think that's the biggest thing. We've talked about this before. That offense, and Tim McVeigh once again was able to run all over Mentor, and he's getting more up on that milestone meter, making his way up. We'll be keeping track of that Saturday night. This offense moved really efficiently. Give credit to that offensive line. They kept Williams protected and McVeigh.
Yeah, well, it all started with Tim McVeigh in the running game, and like you said, give the offensive line a lot of credit. They blocked well all night. Mike Sfatina at fullback opened up some holes as well. Tim McVeigh was the workhorse. He had over 30 carries, finished with about 170 rushing yards. And then Eric Williams didn't throw a whole lot of passes, but got the Wildcats into the end zone 3 times, ran it in himself once. He had a touchdown pass to Connor Hennessy of 8 yards, and he had a 35-yard strike to Jake Mooney.
The Wildcats moving through Region 1, and it was really nice to watch them really hand all these teams in Region 1, and get the victory. It was tough. You can definitely see how tough it is to come out of that region. Unlike any other region, I really think, Greg, it's got to be the toughest region in the state when you look at it. When you look at the caliber of opponents that they had. They start with Boardman. For a first-round matchup, that's a pretty good football team. And then you have to face St. Edward once again, and we know that they could be in the spot right now, along with Mentor, both teams that really performed well throughout the season. It's tough to come out, but it feels great.
Oh, it really is. Region 1, like you said, is probably the strongest. Region 4 is close, but yeah, that's 3 tough games, really. Boardman, and then St. Ed's, and then Mentor. Boardman, you face a solid team. St. Ed's, you face probably the best offensive and defensive lines in the state. And then Mentor, what had been a previously unstoppable offense.
And the Wildcats now will be advancing on to the Final Four. They will be playing the Toledo Whitmer Panthers, who came out of Region 2. And this is a team that runs out of the shotgun a lot. We're going to be looking at that. But just to kind of preview them, they'll go in the shotgun, but they're going to run the ball much more than Mentor did. And they went into that spread, and they were able to throw it efficiently down the field all year long. This is a team that's going to run it and try to do sweeps. They're led by quarterback Tyler Palka, and Palka has done a nice job. He's actually filled in for the second half of the season. They've got a lot of really skilled players, and they can run the ball.
Yeah, when you look at their offense, probably the complete opposite of Mentor. Like you said, they do go in the shotgun, but it's primarily running. Jody Webb, their running back, is really the main focus of the offense. They'll get him a lot of carries, and when he's not running the ball, they like to pass to him, on short routes or on screens. And looking at last week, 21 carries for him, 157 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. So they look to get him involved. Palka, 11 for 15 passing, 195 yards, and 2 passing touchdowns. And then the main targeted receiver besides Webb, Alonzo Lucas, he had 5 catches and a touchdown.
Yeah, this is definitely a team. I mean, 285 rushing yards last week against Wadsworth, a Wadsworth team that was really having a nice year. And on the other end, had Snowball, their running back, and he had performed well all year for them. But this Toledo Whitmer team, they've handed it over and over again to teams. I mean, they just beat Wadsworth 37-0, and they beat McKinley 37-6. Their quality of schedule is not, the same as the Wildcats. You look at some of the teams that they played: Brantford High School, St. Francis de Sales, St. John's Jesuit High School. Those are some of the high-profile opponents. So it's not the same as the Wildcats, and that may hold good for the Wildcats.
Yeah, it'll really be interesting to see how they do against the Wildcats compared to their previous opponents. Like you said, not the greatest opponents to date, but they did go undefeated, and they have won by a lot in all their games.
Definitely should be something to watch. Well, we're going to take a look at some of last Saturday's game. We'll take a look at Toledo Whitmer here on the SIPN on Across the Table. Looking at that Wildcats victory, 23-17 last Saturday night against Mentor, and here at Lakewood Stadium, the Wildcats going into that purple and gold red zone. Let's take a look at this play, Greg. The first touchdown pass to Connor Hennessy, where the Wildcats were able to get up 7-3. Let's take a look at this.
So it's a nice play design to get Connor Hennessy some space. The outside receiver is going to run a slant to the inside, and Hennessy's going to run a slant to the outside. And Eric Williams just has a nice throw. Connor Hennessy, nice diving catch to get him the touchdown.
I think it's also, you got to watch here the pass protection, and watch if somebody gets past the line. Definitely got to watch that. Let's take a look. Definitely see here. Simple crossing pattern, really. You go back slightly, and how he got that separation, what he's been able to do all year, Greg, I think it's just the fact that he's just done a really nice job as far as getting out in the open. And look at the matchup that he was able to win over the cornerback.
Yeah, and you said getting out in the open. Connor Hennessy last year at the JV level really was the featured receiver and a punt returner, and he can certainly use those returner skills at the wide receiver position. We've seen him do it a lot. He's one of the Wildcats' best receivers at making things happen after the catch.
Hey, look, pretty good play by the cornerback there. He's right on Hennessy. Still a nice ball to the outside, and Williams, and a really good play design.
Oh, it really was. Play design got him enough space. The throw was right where it needed to be, and Connor Hennessy just made a nice play to pull it in.
So now we'll take a look at this one here as Trubisky in the gun once again. Just hands it off, and the ball comes right out. And who's on it but
Kevin Kavlik.
Been on it all year. Kavlik just continues to make great plays throughout the season, and that's why the Wildcats have just really taken him and run with him. That's what they told him before this season. Take your spot and run with it. And this kid's just done a great job being a junior, making all these great plays.
Oh, he is. He missed 2 playoff games, but still, in the 11 games he's played, 15 now, 15 and a half sacks to lead the team. And he's made all kinds of plays, recovered some fumbles, a lot of tackles for loss. And on that one, you saw Mentor made a mistake. Wildcats were able to take advantage, and that led to their 3rd touchdown. Very crucial play, and Mentor turning it over deep in their own territory.
Mentor, at this point, they need another big drive. Wildcats defense was right there. Initially, once again, you definitely see here they're still trying to get set up as they were all night. But you notice here, the linebackers are spread out. They're expecting the pass, but all night, Greg, I think it's crucial to see here that this guy right here, Sheehan, coming around the end, and they always try to do that. Let's take a look at this play here. It's good pass protection. Then it seems to break up, and there they are. They've made great plays all year, and you can't say it enough. This defense is the reason, I think we can all say, why this team has been in so many games, and territory was so huge in this game. Let's talk again about that wind.
Yeah, the wind really affected the kicking games and the passing game. We saw both quarterbacks, Trubisky and Williams, when they were playing with the wind at their back, they both had a lot of overthrows. And then when they were throwing against the wind, we saw both of them underthrew some balls. And the punts, man, did the wind crush some of those. As Mentor's punter, who was the all-district team punter, you know he's a good punter, but he had a punt of 1 yard, a 5-yard punt, a 10-yard punt kicking into the wind. The wind really made a difference.
Yes. You got to look at that kicking matchup, and you got to think there isn't anybody else who could have punted as good as those guys really did. You know, he didn't have, he had a couple of shanks off the side of his foot, but the Wildcat special teams, of course, got on him. It was just that kind of night when you get in You know, that's the great thing about OHSAA playoffs, Greg. They're still playing outdoors. They may be playing on turf, but outdoors, and the conditions are what they are. And now, we're going to take a look at Toledo Whitmer here. We're going to take a look at what they look like. But early on, Greg, they go on the shotgun line. We talked about this before. That's what they're going to do, and they continue to do that, Greg. They will spread you out, and they really do a nice job of it.
Yeah, but we mentioned their primary focus is the running game and getting running back Jody Webb involved, whether it's handing it off to him or running some interesting plays to get him the ball in space, whether it be passing it to him, pitching it to him. They do a lot of things to try and get Webb the ball.
Got to be watching here in the shotgun. You stop right here. We're going to see a play fake here, and then watch Webb come right off. This is what they're going to do throughout. And this offensive line, too. You got to notice this. First look, Storm Norton is 6'8". He's 300 pounds. Storm. I'm telling you right now, Storm, lightning is going to be in the air. This kid can fly, right? He is huge. He's a monster. But I'm telling you, he has never seen the kid named Cavalick. Definitely not.
No, and we've seen Kevin Cavalick against, some offensive linemen just as big as that play for the St. Edward Eagles. We've seen Cavalick. He may not be as big as them, but he's definitely quicker, and he can get right by them. And hopefully he can do the same thing against this guy.
All right, let's take a look here. So they fake it, and then watch Webb come off the edge. Watch where it's full, completely full, and then you got to watch Webb. He takes off. You got to watch this kid. There's 4 guys that they have to trail him. And it's a play that they're going to run. They run a lot of quick swing passes here. At this point, Wadsworth and Whitmer were scoreless, and Wadsworth ended up, losing the game 37-0. Whitmer was able to get a score up on that drive. Greg, I was talking about Storm Norton. Watch this play here. We got to take a look at this one. I'm going to let everybody just take a look at this with their eyes. Greg, let's take a look right here. As Webb's in the backfield, they hand it to him. So he's got a seal right now. He's got a hole. They've created a hole for him. Keep on going. Defender right there breaks off, and he's gone. Wow, this kid can definitely run. We got to be looking at it. I'm going to give you the stats on this offensive line. Center Nate Ward, he's 6'3", 200, so that's, pretty average. Then you have the left guard Eric Hart, 5'7", 245. Lord Lowe, the other guard, 6'2", 250 pounds. And then Brian Stamper, the tackle, 6'1", 255. And then you have, it's like man among boys, 6'8", 300, Storm Norton. He's at the other right tackle. So these guys, they're the reason for this team's success. And with Webb carrying the ball, that's why they've been, that's why they are 13-0. That's why they are where they are. And, they say the game is won and lost on the line, and that's where it's been won and lost for Whitmer.
Yeah, they've got a lot of very big linemen who can block, and you saw they have a very fast running back that can take advantage of those blocks, and that's why their running game's been so successful. And you also, I think we're going to look at this a little later, their defensive line, very big and very skilled as well.
We talked about this defensive line is really effective.
Oh, it really is, and they're all led. The defensive line, led by defensive end Chris Wormley, he's a big guy as well, 6'7", 270. And another guy to look out for on defense, defensive back Mark Myers. In this game, he had an interception return for a touchdown of 53 yards. He's their best guy in the secondary, being recruited by some MAC schools. Hasn't committed anywhere yet, but he's a player to watch.
You can see on our page right now, basketball, hockey schedules are out. First basketball broadcast is coming up December 9th at Cleveland Central Catholic. Pat White and I will have it at 6. And then, Greg, you and Lou will be back for basketball. Should be another fun season. You can listen on your mobile device. Click right here to listen and listen at the game. Put on your phone, listen at the game. The state semifinal link is right there. So definitely get on there. Also, football page always has Eddie Dwyer's Corner. It is huge. Ready for a state semifinal. Greg and I, Jeff McCormick will be there. And beautiful Mansfield. Watch out for Storm Norton. Greg and I will see you there.